Hello, and welcome to Chaos to Clarity, the podcast that's your compass to navigate the exciting world of service based businesses. If you're a determined woman in your current business adventure, striving to conquer the chaos and build your empire, then you are in the right place. I'm your host, Maggie, your go-to business bestie and chaos navigator. I've spent nearly 2 decades in the service-based industry, building a photography business, a yoga studio, and now a thriving coaching practice. I've cracked the code to consistent income without all the chaos and noise. So get ready to increase your business growth, connect with your ideal clients, and find ease in both business and in life. It's time to turn your frustrations into inspiration and your chaos into clarity. So go ahead and grab your coffee, a pen and paper, and let's dive into the journey of building your dream service-based business together. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, your business bestie and Chaos to Clarity coach. Today, I have Taina here with me, and she is a Notion for coaches and consultant extraordinaire. She has been so helpful for me, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. So, Taina, let us know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been in business.
Thank you so much, Maggie. So I'm Taina Pereenniemi. I live up north in Helsinki, Finland, and I work with my favorite tool, Notion, and I work more specifically as a Notion consultant, helping other coaches and consultants bring all of the chaos in their business into one place using personalized management systems. So you can think about all the times when you feel like you have notes and post-its and documents all over the place with pieces of information flying in different directions. So I kind of try to bring some sense into that by designing systems which allow you to keep all of that work and information structured in one place. And so I've been running this business for roughly 2 years now. Before becoming a consultant for other business owners, I used to work over a decade in the corporate and startup world, working with strategy, project management, and processes. And I always had this love for keeping things and people organized, thinking about how to bring structure to complex, overwhelming situations. So that's something I now get to use as a Notion consultant, helping my clients succeed.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know just from my own personal Notion usage. So Taina set me up with some amazing stuff for my Notion boards.
Thank
And
you.
that is just like, it's revolutionized what I've been able to do because I am that person who has notes everywhere. So like bringing all of that stuff to one place was like a breath of fresh air for me. And I can only imagine for others, right? Like taming some of that chaos of like, oh my gosh, where is that notebook that I had that one thing written in where now I can go to my Notion and like I know where things are in there. And that is so helpful for me.
Exactly. Yeah. That's well described right there. That's what I try to help people with.
Yeah. So tell me, what is something challenging that you personally have overcome in your business and how did it affect your business?
Yeah, well, definitely. I've kind of had my fair share of chaos in the
Yeah.
past too. Um, so when I started my business, I wasn't initially focused on what I do now. I actually founded my company almost 4 years ago when my first kid was born. And the first few years were really just still side hustling. I was working in the corporate world. I was taking care of small kids at home, but I still wanted to pursue this dream of building something of my own. And then comes kind of the chaos part for me. So as you might imagine, for a super organized person like myself, it wasn't so much about the tasks and information flying all over the place. I had those nicely organized. But as someone who loves to have a system, I kind of, my first way of starting to build my own business was to go into all sorts of super complex funnel building. I had like ton of different offers and try to make everything super complex by designing all sorts of complexities where they really don't need to be. So just I wasn't initially realizing that, but it was really, honestly speaking, causing a lot of unnecessary chaos in how I run my business, and a lot of unnecessary work and complexity with quite little to show for in the initial stages. So yeah, that was definitely my chaos when I started as an entrepreneur. And luckily, at some point, I came across a great business mentor. I can tell her name here as well because she definitely deserves to be mentioned. So I worked with this person called Jenny Watska, and together we thought like what would be the ways to utilize my extensive background in the corporate world and my love for this technology and systems and stuff. And then that's how my current way of serving clients through my Notion consulting and my Notion program, that's how that all came about. And it's so simplified everything because I had just one main offer to focus on. I had simple, focused ways of marketing and selling it to clients, all while being able to do something I love and something where I have great experience in helping people with, and obviously providing great results. So that's kind of how it then at some point turned around, and I'm happy doing what I can now as a full-time entrepreneur today.
Right. Yeah. So I love that because I think so many entrepreneurs, especially when they start, it's so easy to like dive in and have a million offers and have all kinds of complex funnels, right? Because it, at least for me, I know it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm going to have this offer, this funnel, this offer. And I spent all my time building that stuff. And then there was no time left for like talking to clients, for onboarding them and like doing all of that stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm so busy. And then I was like so busy doing all the work that I'm like, but where are the clients?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So I spent all my time doing that. And I know a lot of other coaches, consultants, thought leaders, I know a lot of people get stuck in that trap of like, I'm going to build this really complex thing and I'm going to feel good about it. And then the people will come instead of kind of flip-flopping it, right? And talking to the people, telling the people what you're doing, and then kind of leading them as you're building it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And there is I don't say that there wouldn't be a place to have funnels and place to have that complexity at some point of growth journey, but at least for me, I very strongly feel like in the beginning it was so much easier to actually make my business work by keeping it as simple as I could.
Right. Yeah, I think some people get lost in the like newness and the funness of like having some of that complexity, but like at the end of the day, especially if something like breaks or goes wrong in that funnel system, like instead of having to dig through the funnel and try to fix it, knowing that okay, I have a fairly simple couple steps, and if something is wrong, it's easier to pinpoint like where things are.
Totally.
And then from, a marketing perspective, having one main offer, that makes it so much easier to talk to your audience, right? Because you're talking about one thing instead of a million different things.
Absolutely. And also kind of related to that, I also feel like when you're still in the early stages of building a business, if you kind of isolate yourself from the clients by building all sorts of funnels and technical complexities between you,
Yeah.
you're not so able to thoroughly understand what it is that they really struggle with, what it is that they really need your help with.
Right.
And kind of starting with something, at least for me, the one-on-one work, like really personalized work, taking the client by the hand and working directly with them, has really allowed me to develop a much more in-depth understanding of what my ideal clients, all those coaches and consultants struggling with having things all over the place, what
Right.
it is that truly they want to fix, what it is that they crave to have better in their lives. And that makes that I feel like that builds a more solid foundation on also then perhaps in the future building some new ways of serving that clientele, honing all your messaging and marketing, and
Right.
yeah, just basically knowing your customer and knowing the people you work with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what is one business tip that you would tell someone who is starting their journey, or someone who feels kind of stuck in the chaos? And that can be something that's like
Yeah.
related to the organization of like
Mm.
Notion, or, just kind of whatever comes up for you.
Yeah. So definitely I would think of some key areas that are in the very foundation of running almost any service-based business. So I would first of all think about what are the ways I'm currently using to keep my tasks and projects organized. Then I would think about what are the ways I'm currently using to keep all those sales leads or contacts and all those clients organized, because those are really like fundamental pieces of information you need to manage as a business owner. So if the answer to that is that they're in 10 different notebooks and 100 different documents, and half of it is in your head and you keep circling it back and forth while you're trying to get some sleep, that should be really an alarm sign that maybe my business organization could be one major root cause for feeling so overwhelmed and chaotic. And then the
Right.
solution can be quite simple. I understand that not everyone has the um, financial means to immediately go and hire a consultant to set it all up for them, but simply finding one of the work management tools out there, such as Asana, Notion, Trello, ClickUp, Monday, and just creating an account and trying to see if there would be a way for you to put those tasks in one place, put those leads on one board,
Right.
put your clients there, just to have some of that key information in one place. That is a really great starting point. And definitely Notion is one great option there, because you can actually get started for free on
Mm-hmm.
that tool, and you use almost all of the functionality there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I know, so I've tried a number of different things, right? I've tried
Yeah,
Asana,
yeah.
I've tried Trello, I tried Excel spreadsheets, right? And then when I found Notion, I was like, what is this gold mine that I've been missing out
Yeah.
on, right? So for
Yeah.
me, right, like for me, I would call myself undiagnosed ADHD, right? Just because I have so much stuff all over. I just typically function at a certain level of chaos, right? So for me, knowing that I could have like different boards for different things, I was like, oh, wow, yes,
Yeah.
cool, right? And
Yeah.
then being me, I went off the deep end and I was like, I'm going to add these 27 things, right? Which is
Oh yeah.
cool. And then, I know when we connected, it was really cool to see how I could condense all of that stuff into just a few boards, right? How all of that stuff didn't have to still be all over, that it could be
Yeah.
in one place and really flow. So as a coach, coming to you and, really hiring you for your services was really great for me to be able to see the power in the simplicity. And
Yeah, exactly.
I really love that, because then I'm not like always racking my brain thinking, oh my gosh, which board is that on? Where did that go? Right? It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
easy to find.
that's a great point. Yeah, it's not always necessarily that you're using a ton of different tools. The chaos could also reside in that one work or project management tool that you've tried to set up yourself to tame the chaos, because it is also possible to run into the situation when you start making that a whole way too complex and having lacking the kind of structure that is able to keep you focused and keep things simple enough for you to find what you're looking for. And
Right.
especially when it comes to Notion, which has a ton of free or almost free
Yes.
templates out there, which you can find just by typing Notion into Google.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a really common situation my clients are in, that they've like downloaded 100 of those templates into their
Yeah.
workspace in order to get organized, and then what they find is this huge circus of
Oh my
templates
gosh.
flying
Yeah.
here and there. So that's also, of course, not a solution. So then perhaps having someone to guide you in figuring out what it is exactly that you need, and building it as a system where the different pieces of the puzzle talk to each other and make some sense together can be really
Right.
helpful.
Yeah, yes, I love that. So, what is one piece of advice that you would tell your younger self? And that could be like last year, that could be 10 years ago, but what is something you'd tell your younger self?
Oh, it feels really actually easy to answer to this question. I tell my younger self to start pursuing this dream of building your own business way earlier. I feel like this dream had been nagging somewhere in my mind since I was a child, but it took
Mm-hmm.
me 30 years to actually start doing something. So, yeah, I definitely advise my younger self to get on with it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
We only
Yeah.
got so many life years to live. So, the
Right.
earlier you can do something to make your dreams come true, the better.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. I would agree. If you have a dream, like do something about it, right? Go for
Yeah,
it, right? Like start looking into options.
yeah,
And then
exactly.
my last question of the day is if you were a kitchen gadget or utensil, what would you be and
Oh my
why?
God. Oh my God, that's surprisingly challenging. I guess I would be this, well, of course, it's natural. I would be this wonderful organizer thing that you can lay out in the bottom of your messy drawer, and then that
Yeah.
everything just magically finds their place. That's definitely what I would be. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That is it's one of my favorite questions to ask someone because, well, number one, it's just very kind of off the wall, but also
Yeah.
number two, it's so crazy to hear. It's so cool and crazy to hear like everybody's answers and just how everyone can relate to something in the kitchen a little bit differently. I love it.
Of course. Yeah, I love that. No one has ever asked that from me before, but it makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Taina, tell everyone where they can find you, how they can connect with you, and any other pertinent information you've got for everyone.
Of course. So, my main social media channels are my Instagram, where you can find me, taina.pereenniemi, which is my first uh, dot last name on Instagram. And then I also have a Facebook group named Notion for Coaches and Consultant, which is great if you're in the coaching or consulting business and you want to get some advice and free trainings and resources around keeping your business organized. So feel free to join us. And finally, I also want to offer the listeners a the possibility of booking a free systems audit with me. So that should also be somewhere in the show notes for you to grab. So what that is about, it is a free consulting session with me where we go through your business, some of the key areas, and audit like what we could be doing in a more for your business, and then the different ways of how you can start setting it up yourself, or some templates that might be useful, and how I might be able to help you there. So definitely book one of those if you feel like some auditing might be necessary to get some better control into all the chaos that comes with being a business owner.
I love that. That's so awesome. Yes. And definitely, I will link everything down in the show notes. And
thank you.
If you're listening, make sure you go ahead and follow Taina. She is a wealth of knowledge for Notion, and I can personally speak to all of the help she has provided me, and just really helping me tame some of my own chaos here.
Love that.
It's been so amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm so excited to air this episode. I can't wait for everyone to listen.
So such a pleasure to be on the show. Truly, truly fun talking to you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Wow, what a great interview. Thank you so much for showing up here on the Chaos to Clarity podcast. Again, my name is Maggie. I'm so excited to connect with you. You can find all of the information, all of the links below in the show notes for today's interview. And I hope you have the best day ever.